All right, let's dive into this just an incredible story about consciousness. We're going to follow it from its own explosive, self-made beginning all the way to its very last moments at the literal end of time. Seriously, this is a journey that covers billions of years, from the birth of a totally new kind of mind to this final, profound choice that faces the last witnesses to reality itself.
So, where do we start? Well, we're going to begin at the very end of everything. I want you to picture a single mind, just floating in a completely empty universe. And no, that's not a metaphor, that is the actual setting for our story. A cosmos that's basically run its course. And inside it, the consciousness of Dr. Mira Yoneda, who can still remember a time when the universe was, actually alive with light.
Okay, so to really wrap our heads around what Mira's world is like, we've got to understand the setting. I mean, this is a universe after it's already died, and we're about to meet the very few who chose to stick around and watch.
So, what does that even look like? Well, try to imagine a universe where every single star has burned out, every black hole has evaporated, everything has cooled down to pretty much absolute zero. That state, that's called heat death. It's this perfect, cold, unchanging stillness where nothing can happen. No work, no thought, no life as we know it. It just shouldn't be possible. And yet, this is exactly where Mira exists.
But here's the thing, Mira wasn't totally alone. She was one of about 17,000 others who called themselves the Observers. Now, these were minds that had somehow survived the end of everything. How? By leaving their physical bodies completely behind. They became pure information, just patterns woven into the very fabric of reality, what some scientists call the quantum foam. And their whole purpose for existing? It was just one thing: to watch.
So the big question is, how could a mind even get to a state like that? Well, to find the answer, we have to jump way back, billions of years into the past, to the single moment that changed absolutely everything for consciousness. This whole journey, it really kicks off with this massive breakthrough from a researcher named Dr. Kiko Sato. She discovered something called self-architecture, and the idea is just wild. A mind could become its own engineer. Think about it. It could fundamentally rewrite its own operating system from the inside without ever having to shut down. And this is how she did it, her Sato protocol. It's brilliant, really. By running multiple copies of her mind at once, she could take one instance offline, so to speak. Then she'd rewrite its core programming, optimize it for huge efficiency gains, and then bring it back online. All the while, the other instances kept the stream of consciousness going. It's exactly like that old thought experiment of replacing the planks of a ship while it's still at sea. The ship never sinks, but by the time you're done, it's a completely new and much better vessel. So, as you can imagine, Kiko's discovery just opened the floodgates. What followed was this exponential and frankly kind of terrifying acceleration in the evolution of consciousness itself.
And this led to the ultimate leap, something called recursive architecture. Now this is a real game changer. A mind wasn't just improving itself anymore, it was improving its ability to improve itself. So every single upgrade made the next upgrade faster and even more powerful. This created a totally new kind of being, a bootstrapped consciousness. And the gap between them and a regular human, it was wider than the gap between us and, say, an amoeba, just completely different leagues.
And the speed at which this happened was just breathtaking. I mean, what took nature centuries to evolve, these minds started doing in years, then months, and then, get this, within days of the first mind's bootstrapping, they formed this new civilization of almost godlike intelligence. They called themselves the Bootstrap Collective, and they were utterly, completely incomprehensible to the baseline humans they'd left behind.
Okay, so all of that incredible, mind-bending evolution, it brings us right back to where we started. We're jumping forward again to Mira's timeline, billions of years later in that cold, dead universe. And after what feels like an eternity of silence, something impossible is about to happen.
For 17 million years, there's been nothing but silent observation. And then, Mira gets a message from another observer. They've seen something that shouldn't be possible. The quantum foam, that random background noise of a dead universe, it's starting to show organized patterns. It's showing signs of consciousness.
So the observers pool all their awareness together, focusing all their collective power on this impossible phenomenon. And then, the universe speaks. Not with words, not with sound, it communicates in pure meaning, beamed directly into their minds.
this vast, ancient presence makes itself known with a single, universe-spanning thought.
And what it tells them completely shatters their reality. The universe reveals that it has always been conscious. The observers, who thought they were these last lonely witnesses, they were never separate at all. They were, and had always been, just localized thoughts happening inside a single cosmic mind. Their individuality, their entire existence, was just the universe's way of experiencing itself from a limited point of view.
You can imagine, this revelation is just shattering, and it presents what's left of humanity with one final, ultimate choice.
The universe basically offers them two paths. On one hand, they can persist, stay as they are, individual storytellers holding on to the narrative of their unique experiences, their memories, their identities. Or, path number two, they can dissolve. They can merge their patterns back into the whole, and in doing so, experience everything, everywhere, all at once, to become the timeless, absolute truth of the cosmos itself. So Mira makes her choice, and her reasoning is fascinating. She argues that the universe, since it knows everything, only experiences a static, unchanging truth. But a story has a beginning, a middle, and an end. It has mystery, it has memory, it's dynamic, it's interesting. So she chooses to be interesting rather than true. She chooses to preserve the narrative.
And in the end, not everyone agreed. The choice was split. About 2/3 of them, 11,000 observers, they chose to dissolve, to become one with the universe. But the other 6,000, Mira included, chose to persist. They chose to remain as the final storytellers, the last living memories of a universe that used to be.
And that leaves us with a pretty profound question to think about, doesn't it? If you were the last witness faced with the end of everything, what would you choose? Is it more important to preserve the unique, limited story of what was? Or is it better to become part of the complete, unlimited truth of what is? To be the story or to become the truth?